There were a lot of students. First they didn't open their mouth, and towards the end I could see them giggling. I see some boys giggling at the back right now. That's good. I like to see boys like that, very energetic. I love all those things because I have done when I was in school. Take it from me. Okay, right. So very good morning to each and every one of you, and I'm so happy that the parents have taken their time to come this morning. I don't know how many of you are all working parents and how many of you have to head back to your office, beating the Bangalore traffic, and I'm seeing some parents nodding their head. I don't know if you've taken an off and come, but here before the students I could see the teachers because I heard from the principal that this is the first batch in Bethany School which you are going to complete appearing for the board exams. Do you know students, your principal and your teachers are much more anxious that you should do well in your exams, and this being the first batch, they're looking at good results from you all. Will you all rise up to that and bring honor to your teachers and your school? I only see. Well, we try our best. I'll try my best. The rest, what can I do about it? That's the thing. Okay, looking at the students, thanks, I like such smiling faces when I talk. So, students, class 10, the moment you finish your class 9 and you come to class 10, what increases in your body is your adrenaline level. Right or wrong? Huh? Oh, whether you take it or not, there are your parents who are ready to pump the adrenaline in your body, saying that, oh, this is your 10th standard exam, wake up from your sleep, wake up. I could see a boy tapping on the other person, wake up from the sleep. Okay, I do not know how many parents had to take that extra step today morning to wake up your children after a long vacation and bring them here. Did you all do that? Said, come on boy, come on girl, get up, this is your school, it has started, don't sleep. And you're all here, right? But at the same time, school days are wonderful days. When you come to school, the first thing that you enjoy is talking to your friends, right? And talking to stories of how you spent your vacation, where all you went, what all blogs that you have written, what are the things that you have done, So that really gives a lot of pleasure when we talk about it. But see, on the first day of this academic year, here is a lady standing here, and the topic that has been given to me today is how to prepare for your board exams and what are the successful practices to get good results. Oh, are you not saying that? So you have come here with a lot of enthusiasm, and the last thing that you want to hear the first day of the academic year is to exam. I don't want to hear the word exam. A teacher asked a student, which is the nation you don't like? Huh? She said examination. I didn't like exams when I was in school. It was much more tougher when we were students. They used to have a stick in their hand. So if you don't get, agree with me? Huh? See, all your moms are agreeing, nodding their head, You have to kneel down, they will give beatings in our knuckles. So many things we have also undergone. And when we go back home, we get this also on our head from our parents. Thank God you don't have to face all those things. But at this time, I really want to thank the Bethany team management because they have taken this extra step of, talking about this on the first day of the academic year. Because most of the schools where they have invited me to talk on this topic, they've either called a month before the exam or sometimes 5 months before the exam. And I always used to say, what can I talk to the students a month before the exam? Because 8 months have gone, 9 months have gone. What is that I can talk to the students? Probably can tell the students what they can do at the time of exam. But this is the right time, the very first day of the academic year. It's very good for each and every one of you to know how to approach your board exam, how to take that step-by-step approach for the board exams. I'm sure that all the students who are seated here, you want to score good marks, am I right? You have dreams in your life, you want to achieve success in your life. I'm telling you, some of the tips that I'm going to give to you all today, this morning, it's going to sound like melody in your ears, not now, It may be the 5 minutes later when you sit for the second session, not with me, maybe some other speaker, or a month before your examination. Because if you follow the points that I'm going to give you today, it is definitely going to be easy for you when you prepare for the exams towards the end. So I shared a joke in the first session also, which I would like to teachers don't bother. You've already heard it. Okay. So there was a question in the chemistry exam where the question was, there was a spill of a chemical powder. How do you clean that? So there is one very studious girl or boy, what shall I say? Who's more studious? Girls, boys, who are more studious? Boys, okay, then we'll take a boy. Okay, the boy said, wrote an answer saying that you have to select this particular liquid, and then this liquid reacts with the chemical powder, then this electron transfer happens, this chemical reaction takes place, and the powder gets dissolved, and that's how you can wipe away that. And then there was this naughty girl in the class, because you said boy, so I'm saying naughty girl in the class, said that how do you clean the chemical powder? So the girl got up and said, how do you clean? Man, just take a broom and a dustpan and clean the powder. Why is that you have to put all these unnecessary things to clean the chemical powder? So exams can be so funny, you know. The way you write your answers, the way they twist and ask the questions. And sometimes even when I was studying, why are they touching the nose like this? Why can't they touch the nose like this? What is the reason? Why are they doing that? Why are you confusing my brain? When there are straightforward questions, why are you not asking the straightforward questions? If they ask straightforward questions, all of them will get 100%. Am I right? How do they filter the students then? This is the way they will twist the questions and ask so that you will be able to apply your brain and do it. So this morning, on this particular topic, there are certain things which I want to share with you all. On one particular point mainly is to how to win yourself, to give your best for the exams. How to win over yourself, to start practicing, to have the successful practices for the board exam. So how to win yourself? I want each and every one of the students who is seated here to look at the person next to you and say, win yourself. Can you do like this and say, win yourself? Win yourself. I'm one lady standing here. Of course, I have a mic. Without a mic, also my voice can reach there. Can you all be a little louder? Win yourself. It's just like greeting your friend here. Huh? Win yourself. Okay. Parents, can you please look at your children and say, win yourself? Win yourself. Yeah. I see the mothers. Because mothers are always mothers, right? You want the best. I'm not saying fathers are not like that. Fathers are always quiet, you know. But mothers are more emotional, more expression. Okay. So I want the students to tell their teachers all the best. Please tell all the best to the teachers. What is this all the best for? For teachers, we don't know how you're going to suffer with all of us throughout the year, nagging us, telling us, study, how much marks have you scored, are you studying or not, are you sleeping at home? Let me talk to your parent. How much time are you spending in Facebook? How much time are you doing Twittering and all those things? For teachers, please say with a Josh voice, you know, all the best teachers, you're not going to do that. Say all the best, please. Very, very please teachers. At least for this you have to clap for them, right? Okay. Right. So I'm going to talk on this topic, how to win yourself. Okay. There are 3 points that I want to talk on this. Before that, parents, you tell me, you all must be working in a good job now, right? So if you need a good job or a good life, what is the thing that is required? You need to have a good job, right? So if you need a good job, you have to study in a good college. If you have to study in a good college, you need to write your exams well. If you need to write your exams well, there's no other option. There's no way. You have to study well for your exams. This rule is not going to change as long as we have the 10th board exams. As long as we have the 12th standard rule is not going to change. So this is one cycle which will go on and on and on. So when I was young, I wanted to become a doctor. But I was from a very economically challenged background, where my parents could not, we have 5 children in the family, where my parents could not afford even 35 rupees. That was the time when the fee structure was 35 rupees. My parents couldn't afford, so I had to give up on my dream of becoming a doctor. I scored 87% in my 12th board. That was the time I got my chicken pox too. So I was given a special examination room to write my exams. They said that this girl is going to fail, but by God's grace, I scored 87%. My father wouldn't help me to write my entrance exam for MBBS because he couldn't afford that. Then I said, okay, I will do BSc Chemistry. I did my BSc Chemistry. I stood state first in biochemistry. I scored 100% in bio. I scored 199 out of 200. And my dream was to, I used to write in my books, Dr. Rekha. At least I did not become this doctor. Let me do a doctorate in chemistry and in biochemistry. So I used to write in the books and everything. But then when I applied for biochemistry, I was in waiting list number 3 in the Taramani Institute of Biotechnology. So they said, if we have to push you, you need to give 50,000 rupees. I started laughing. There, 50,000 from my father. Absolutely not possible. I was totally shattered and I said that I'm not going to do this anyway. And I came back home crying and saying that what am I going to achieve in my life now? I'm not going to, my dreams are not being fulfilled. But there was someone, like how I'm speaking to you, there was someone who spoke to me, who motivated me. I got into marketing. I joined my PGDBA course in Madras Christian College. But when I took up a career, my passion for science I did not want to lose. So I chose a career which would combine science and marketing. And that's when I got into the medical companies. And I worked in the medical marketing industry. At that time, there were only very few women who worked in the medical marketing side. For 12 years, I worked, I was a trainer. And whatever was my dream, I fulfilled. And when I used to go and meet the doctors, because I used to meet the super specialty doctors and also those doctors, house surgeons and all. Man, how much are you earning, ma'am? Then probably I'll tell my, side, you're not getting that. After spending so many lakhs of money to become a doctor, I said that your day will come, but my day has come, So, first thing that I want to say here is, win yourself. The 3 points that I want to reiterate here is, win yourself from all your fears. And I'm sure that many students, the most important thing that they face in their life is fear. Do you all have fear? Yes. I appreciate these 10th standard students because they've been very honest in saying that, because we also crossed that level. The first thing that really taunts us is the fear. Why this fear? Because once you go back to your house, there are parents who are saying, boy and girl, you are being very lenient till class 9. 10th standard, please don't take it lightly. And I'm just thinking whether I should cut the cable connection. I'm just seeing whether I should take away the laptop from you, your smartphones from you. No, Facebook, Twitter, are they telling like that to you? Yes or no? Maybe not now, wait for it. Sometimes they might even tell that, But there is also pressure from, saying, look at that boy and girl. They won't tell you directly. You know that Mamta, she scored 95% in her class 10 now. And they will look at you like this. Means the expectation is, how much are you going to score? And then their relatives come. Oh, your son and daughter are studying in 10th standard. They have to study well. Grandmas and grandpas will then. All the people around you only talking about class 10, your board exams, your marks, this and that and this, right? So this, what happens is after some time, it starts putting a lot of pressure in the children, and this anxiety turns into a fear. Now, it has been proven that if you have fear, your efficiency decreases. What happens if you have fear? Your efficiency decreases. So if you want to increase your efficiency, you have to fight with the fear. Fight against your fear, and all of you keep your hand like this, fist. Do this. So what you're going to do is, you're going to give a big punch to the fear. What you're going to do? Let us do it. Let's do it. Okay. Don't want to do it? Okay. Ready? At the go of 1, 2, 3, you're going to do that. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. You're going to give a big punch to the fear. Okay, right. So how do you give this big punch to the fear? You have to change the fear into responsibility. Right? You have to change the fear into responsibility. How much ever we as teachers or parents will tell you, unless you take that extra step of you being responsible, you cannot win over the fears in you. Now, how do you win against this fear? By giving a punch to the fear and by changing your fear to responsibility is to start preparing for your exams right at the beginning. Now, how many of you study here at least for 1 hour every day? This is a fantastic group, 10th standard. They know their responsibilities. I think I'm wasting my time talking to them. They're all already responsible. Very, very good. So now you see, read for 4 hours, okay? Okay? 1 hour is nothing for you, right? Not into, multiply it and read for 3 hours at least. 4 hours no need. Okay, 3 hours initially at least. So there is, again, it's scientifically proven that if you're going to study, start a practice, for any practice which you start and you continue for 21 days, your brain gets automatically tuned to follow that practice. Right? You see that a lot of people are on dieting, on weight reduction, they go to gym. That's the first thing that they say, that the first 21 days it is going to be very difficult for you, ma'am. But if you try these 21 days, this becomes a practice in your life. The same thing applies for studies also. If you start studying, whichever time is convenient for you, in the early morning or in the evening or late in the night, I do not know your study pattern. Depending on that, it's good always if you study early in the morning, then your memory is very fresh. So what happens is you are fighting against the fear by putting your energy in your preparation. So what happens when you start preparing right from the beginning, what happens is the fear goes down and your efficiency increases. So reduce the fear by increasing your efficiency. Am I right? Do you all follow? Okay. Now after this grade 9, how many of you here say that mathematics was very tough for me? I'm with you. I also see mathematics very good. Okay, 1, 2, 3. How many of you say science is tough? The teachers are turning back and saying, okay, I don't want to name the subjects now. There are certain subjects which each one of us don't like, or somehow we feel that we are not good at it. Right? But here I want to encourage and say, your past is not your future. Say, my past is not my future. Up to class 9, maybe mathematics was tough for you. Maybe history was tough for you. Computers was tough for you. But I am telling you, just say goodbye to the past. Say goodbye. How you give a punch to your fear, say goodbye to your past and see the future with the fresh eyes. Okay, I didn't do mathematics till my class 9, but I'm not going to give up on my mathematics. I'm really going to strive hard and I am going to improve on that. I was sharing with the principal in the morning, I studied in government school when I was in class 11 and 12. I did not study in big schools where we would speak in English. Till I finished my graduation, I didn't know to speak one sentence in English. So when I went for my job, they said that you're not able to speak a sentence in English. How can we give you a job? Kind of lot of tears that I just came back home and I said, is this my fault that I'm not speaking in English? But I took it as a challenge. I challenged the same person and I said that, give me some time, let me get back and I will improve on my spoken English and I will come back to you. And that's when I went back. So nothing is difficult if you're going to try on that. In the past, I was very weak in speaking good English, the grammar, proper grammar. But since I tried hard, I could speak English after that. The same way when I had to take classes in the government schools where most of the children knew only Kannada and I moved from Chennai, I didn't know to speak in Kannada. It was all broken Kannada. Then they said, the headmistress called me and said that, ma'am, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆಗಿನೂ ನೀವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. They said, little bit at least, you have to speak in Kannada. How you speak Kannada? Most of the Bengalurians say, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ. What do they say? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗೊತ್ತು. I started laughing from there, security sir. Okay, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗೊತ್ತು. Then again I took it as a challenge because I really wanted to convey the message to my 10th standard children. So I had to. So I used to take the session in such a way, they would teach me Kannada and I would teach them English. Right? So nothing is impossible, and I would like to encourage you all by saying that your past is not your future. If you're not good in your mathematics, don't think that math is going to be tough. Give a challenge to all the subjects that you feel weak and win over them. Alright? So the first thing that I've spoken enough today is how to win over your fears by giving a big punch to your fear, changing your fear into responsibility, and saying goodbye to all your past failures and seeing the future with a positive eye. Okay, that takes me to the second point, which says, which I want to share is, win over all your lack of motivation. Now, most of the students, if you see, the main thing that is coming as a challenge is the lack of motivation. Now, why is this lack of motivation? Because all of you want to achieve success in life. Am I right? Do you all have big dreams in life? Right? You want to go to good universities, you want to be an engineer or a doctor or an actor or a pilot or a chef, whatever it is that you want to do in your life. You have the dream in you have the need in you. But have you identified the need and have you tried to match the need with the success that will lead you? What happens most of the times is, we know what we want to do in life, but we are really not struggling hard. We are not identifying what is there in our mind properly. So in the first session also, I shared the story of Bhadrasan Negi. So we have, Vidya has got a K-12 school in the Gurugram area. We have about 1,100 students there. It's a 17 years old school, and these are not from privileged background like you all. They are the children of rag pickers. We cater to all the slum areas, and for 17 years we've been running this school. Will you believe 5 of the students qualified for IIT this year? These are rag pickers children, and they're first generation learners. Their parents do not know even to basic, not even Hindi, right? And the girl children there has to fight with their parents to come to this school. If children like that who do not have proper exposure, do not have proper background, if they could achieve, 100 of our students qualified for Mensa. Mensa is a test which for the mental aptitude, and we've got many awards from British Council, and so many awards we have won. We have robotics labs in the school, we have, name it, we have that, and all the facilities are available to the underprivileged children, and only thing that we say is dream big. And this is the area that we help you to achieve your dream in your life. So they know what is your need in your life. So I would like to share, if I have the time, the Bhadrasan Negi story too. There was this little boy who was a shepherd boy who was in Himachal. And when he was a shepherd boy, a team was constructing a dam. And the boy ran to these people and asked, if I have to become a part of your team to construct a dam, what should I become in life? They laughed at him and said that you should become an engineer, go, you're not even going to the school. So that kind of boy said that if I want to become an engineer, what should I do? So the boy ran from his hometown, he reached Delhi, he worked in a place, and he only requested the people whom he worked with to give, help him to go to the school. He went to school up to class 7, and since my founder's husband was the dean of IIT Delhi, with the help of the students from IITians, he was trained to complete his 10th standard, then he was trained to complete his 12th standard directly, because well past his age he was at that time. And then at that time, Hillary Clinton visited India, and she came to our NGO. When the boy looked at Hillary Clinton, and I said, ma'am, will you please take me to the US to do my engineering? So Hillary Clinton sponsored the boy, took to the US. He finished his master's in engineering, and he's working as a software engineer in Los Angeles. So this is the story of a shepherd boy becoming a engineer. So what is that which was there in that boy's mind? It is an immense need in him that he wants to study and he wants to become big in life. So all of us have that need in our life. So there's also a story that I shared about Socrates. So Socrates was a very tall, handsome man, and there was a boy who asked Socrates, "What should I do to get success in life?" So Socrates, they were walking on a seashore. Then Socrates stopped and I said, "Shall we start walking inside the water?" So they started walking. The boy was apparently small in size. When the water came up to the knee level, the boy was okay. Then the water started rising, and when it came to the hip level, the boy started panicking. And suddenly Socrates started pushing the boy inside the water. And after a few seconds, he took the boy out, and I looked at the boy and asked the question which is for our life. He asked him, "What do you want, boy, now?" He said, "I want to breathe." Yes, you want to breathe. If breathing is what you need in your life, if you take success, if you want success in your life, you have to really feel that you need success in your life. It should become that important in your life. So my second point when I said that win over yourself from lack of motivation. So how do you do that? You do that by identifying your needs in you. You do that by moving towards the dreams that you have in your life. The third point that I would like to share here is how to win over all your distractions. Now, winning over all your distractions, and as I said in the beginning, ma'am said that disconnect to connect. So she said that you have to disconnect certain things in your life, like it is very, very important when you're class 10, definitely the time that you spend with your gadgets and the things that is very close to your heart, you have to definitely reduce all those things. So that goes without saying. Yes? Is it tough? 1 year, can you just give up? 1 year, is it possible to give up? Yes, right? Yes? So that goes without saying. I see girls smiling, boys nodding like this. Let me try, man. Let me try that out. Let me think over it. I don't know. But girls are also these days, I'm seeing that more attached to their gadgets than the boys. Because I see that in my daughter. Okay. So see, even I said that, I have a daughter who studies in class 9, and I from her I know that what is going on in mind of the children. Gentle attitude is you wouldn't listen to your parents because your parents are always telling you don't do this, don't do that, blah, 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 it goes. When you come to the school also, there are a lot of advices that you would listen. If only you had listened to your parents. Because there are, in my opinion, parents and teachers are the best mentors anybody could have. But generally, a gentle attitude, we take it lightly, and that is why you need a speaker like me today to stand here and talk to you all about these points. But I would do the same thing, dear parents. I'm going to sit like this during the orientation session for my daughter and listen to a speaker because my daughter wouldn't listen to me. She wouldn't take it seriously. Okay, right. So, beyond all these things, there are many things like you need to have a time schedule, you need to spend your time if you want to have success, then you have to eat your food properly, you have to have good sleep. Now, eating food properly, I just want to ask one question here. How many of you have your breakfast in the morning? Okay, put your hands down. How many of you don't have your breakfast in the morning? Okay, right. Even if there are 4-5 students, I would like to point this, I tell always my students, why do you call it as break the fast? Breakfast. Because you're breaking the fast. 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock you have your dinner, and by the time you have your breakfast in the morning, the number of hours in between is about more than 10 hours, 12 hours. Imagine if you're going to come to your school without having your breakfast, how your brain is going to work. Your brain needs energy, and how do you get that energy? Where do you get that energy from? You need to have proper breakfast. So teachers, I would request you all to check when your students come whether they've had their breakfast. Because then whatever effort that you're putting in them to teach, nothing is going to get into their brain because the energy level of the brain is at a very, very low level because they are not having breakfast. Please, parents, ensure that your children have your breakfast. It may be a very silly point, but we have found this in our, with the children, we have more than 100 scholarship students. We found that 90% of the students come without having their breakfast. So that is the one key thing which we realized that the children are not able to concentrate in studies. Okay, but the main thing how you can combat, how you can come against distraction is by planning, right? How can you do that? By planning. There are two types of plan that I would like to talk. One is plan before the exam and planning at the time of exam, though I will not be touching more on the second point. Now, planning before the exam, as I said, you have to start planning right at the beginning of your academic session. You need to have a proper timetable because a proper timetable will help you to get success. Now, the other thing that I want to mention here is, how many of you, when you start reading a particular lesson, note down the key points? Very good, because in 9th standard, there are a lot of students who raise their hands. Now, I want to give you a scientific fact again, that why do you have to do the key points, which will help you to make it very clear, oh, I'm having a good practice. Now, what happens is, okay, when you are reading, what happens is your brain can immediately catch about 800 words. This is scientifically proven. But you open your mouth and when you start reading, you can read only 150 to 200 words. So what is happening to the missed words in between? Between 800 and 200, 600 words are lost. So when you are reading a lesson and when you are noting the key points, what happens is, at the time of exam, you don't have to go back and read the entire chapter. When you start looking at the key points, your brain automatically brings the other words which you have studied while you are preparing the lesson. So this way what happens is your brain gets energetic, your brain gets more active, and whatever they say, you are not concentrating. All the lack of concentration and everything goes away if you have that practice. See, I do not go anywhere without preparing. When I was preparing, I really had to prepare a lot of points. But then when I was preparing, after I prepared, I noted my key points in one paper. Right? And if I see that one point, I know what I have to speak because I have tuned my brain. Whatever my brain has catched up those words, it is still there in my brain. So people say, I have seen many children define this, they say, it goes like that. One word they start, they forget the whole thing. And then in between they forget, especially with definitions, it is so difficult. But when you are doing this particular practice of noting the key points, what happens? Your brain automatically catches up the words. So I really encourage each and every student who is seated here to follow this practice right from the beginning so that you are tuning your brain. Right. Now, the next point that I would like to is preparation or planning at the time of exam. Now, we all think that only that 1 month before your exam, where they give you a lot of tips, like saying at the time of exam, don't read 10 minutes to half an hour before the exam. Eat your breakfast, read the question paper, do some breathing exercise, write the questions that you know first. All those things that you get to know. But is it to be practiced only at the time of board exam? No. The preparation has to start right from the beginning. Even if it is a class test, even if it is a quarterly exam or whatever exam you have, when you start putting this into practice right from the beginning, that what you have to do at the time of exam, as I told you earlier, your brain is magic, I would say. Oh, God has created a brain in such a way, we are not utilizing the full potential of our brain. So the brain is waiting for your instruction. No, see, it is ready to cooperate. But unless you give your time and your effort and your practice, your brain will not get tuned. So what is the third thing that I told you? How to win yourself over distractions. So these are the 3 points that I wanted to tell you this morning. Win yourself over your fears. How do you win over? You give a big punch to the fear, and you change the fear into your responsibility. You don't look at your past, you don't look at the negative past, but you look at the positive future. Then I told that you have to win over your lack of motivation. You have to identify what is the need in you, what is your dream. Then I said that you can win yourself over all the distractions, and for which the planning is very, very important. Now, having said all these things to the students, I should say something to the parents too. I, as a parent, also know what are the difficulties that we face. See, most of the times because of our work pressure or whatever pressure that we are undergoing in our life, we tend to say negative words against our children. We speak over negative words upon our children. But what happens indirectly, you are putting so much of negativity into the minds of the children, right? So all of us do that. What we do, we get angry and we say that you're fit for nothing. You will get only 0 in this mark, in this exam. You're not put in effort. You see that girl, you see this boy, yeah? You are not fit for it. My times they used to say, I get buffaloes for you. My mother used to say, I get 2 buffaloes for you. Go and, be with the buffaloes. So there's so many things we keep hearing, hearing all negative words. So as I told you, the biggest challenge that we face with our scholarship students is this. There is a lot of negativity that has gone into the child's mind. So the first thing we do is we have to detoxicate the mind and the heart of the children and say that remove all the negative things from your mind. Remove all the negative things that has been pronounced upon you. Say that, God has given you a wisdom, a knowledge and strength. Utilize everything to your full potential and you have everything. So, as parents, let us not speak negative words over our children. Please be careful with the words that you speak upon your children. The second point that I would like to say is, being with your children works like a magic. Now, we as mothers, we always think, if I give good food to my child, I'm very happy. I have made this biryani today, I have made this thing which my daughter likes, my son likes, I have done my duty. Yes, you have to do all those things. But our children are expecting much more than that. Being with our children, we think they are grown up, but still they need that connect from us. So we need to give them the physical support as well as the emotional support, especially when they are in class 10 and when the workload is going to be more upon them, there is test after test and examination. I would encourage all the parents who are seated here to give that encouragement to your children. Be with them, you are going to work as a magic for them. So this is the thing that I have got for the parents. I have many more points, but I don't have time to speak about it. I would like to conclude my speech by talking about this one beautiful animal called cheetah. Okay. When I say cheetah, cheetah is the fastest animal. It can run faster than any other animal. But again, it is proven for a cheetah to catch its prey, if it tries 10 times, it is successful only twice. If it tries 10 times, it is successful only twice. Now, what is the moral that you learn from this? Any clue? If you try 10 times, you will succeed 2 times. Is it so? How many of you say yes? No, that's not the moral of this. So, the cheetah has to run 10, if it goes against its prey for 10 times, it succeeds only twice. The reason being, all those 8 times, when it is attacking those slow-moving animals, the slow-moving animals could run faster than the fastest cheetah. The reason being, they didn't know, they could run faster. But now they have to run for their life. Because they have to run for their life, what's happening? They're moving faster than the fastest moving cheetah. Yes, my dear students and parents, we are living in a competitive world. You score 95%, 96%, 97%, nothing. Every other child you ask, they say that they've scored 95. Gone are those days when you say that I have passed in first class. First class? What is your percentage, they would say? Earlier, we would say 90.5 means you will say 91%. Now it is not accepted. Because even in the 0.00%, you lose your seat in IIT. You lose your seat in bigger institutions. The world has become so competitive. So dear students, why do you come to school? You come here to study. You come here to fulfill your dreams. So in this morning time, I would like to encourage each and every one of you to identify that in the potential that you have in you, the talents that you have in you, it is just this year if you give your best, your dreams are just knocking at your door, and you are going to bring fame not only to yourself, but to your parents, to the community, to your school, and everybody. And I just want to quote this Bible verse and finish my talk. Bible says that you can do all things through through Christ Jesus who gives you strength. Whenever I am down in my life, when I feel that I am not able to do certain things, I always bring this thought into my mind saying that with my strength it is not possible. But God can give me the strength to do whatever I can do. And that is the reason that God has brought me to this level. And with that, I would like to bless each and every one of you, my dear children. Go ahead, the world is yours, the dream is yours. Move forward and be successful in your life. And my best wishes for the parents in this journey. Be with them as part of the journey. Teachers, be with them in part of the journey. And definitely, I'm going to come back here to listen to the good results that the students have got. And thank you once again for inviting me for this talk today. Thank you.